Hello and welcome to the 5th build guide. This one is on Blink Dark Templar, and the main focus will be on controlling several split up units at the same time. And as usual, most of the information will be in the guide, the written guide, but I will show the things that are nice to show in video form here. Just to have a look at the build, it's the usual gate expand with cybernetics core, next gas, and the pylon. And as soon as this pylon is getting ready, we can chrono boost, probes, and an adept. Don't look too much in detail at this game specifically, because this warp gate should be started after this stargate. And the Twilight should be started after the Oracle. I think I made those two mistakes. So start with the Adept, Stargate, and Warp Gate. And then you get Phoenix and Oracle, preferably before the Twilight. I mean, I don't think this stuff is very important for the build. I think I got a Sentry instead of the fast Oracle. It's not a big deal. The Sentry also keeps me safe against the Baneling Bust, for example. So yeah, I'm not gonna say that the way that I did it here is the wrong way, but this is an unusual way of doing it. If you do it the normal way, it's gonna look more like an Archon drop or anything else that you might trick your opponent into thinking it can be. Following up with the build, we have the Dark Shrine as soon as possible, and the Robo after the Twilight. But Robo is before the Dark Shrine. And in terms of spending minerals, we have the third base as soon as you can afford it. I will look at the army movements after and just cover the macro bit to start with. DT Blink as soon as possible. And you can see the big gas bank here. Usually that's quite bad, because if you're going Sentry, for example, you want those as soon as possible so they start gathering energy, or High Templar, or if you start a new tech transition, you want it as fast as possible. So usually with Protoss you want to spend the gas instantly, but because I want mass DT, it's okay to have a gas bank, because if we look at the income, if we wait just 30 seconds, we're gonna have 1,400 more minerals, but only 500 more gas, so this will even out in the future. And then any spare minerals you can spend on the 4th base, extra gateways. Pretty straightforward. The focus should not be on macroing perfectly here. You want to spend the money as usual, but the main focus will be on army movements. So you don't have time to do the macro perfectly. Charge when you think you can afford it. Upgrades as usual, and shield, because Archons are basically only shields, which you might get later, but even Dark Templar are mostly shields. And the observers should be clearing creep together with something else. Yeah, that's basically the build. And then you want to take these bases, because we're keeping the Zerg very busy, so they don't really have time to deny bases. Of course, they can decide to make time for that, but that's very expensive APM and scouting even. So just spending a bit of minerals to force them to do something can be very good. Alright, and then I'm just gonna show the unit movements and the control groups. First Adept doing the usual scouting. Nothing new here. Phoenix goes to kill the Overlord, and then goes looking for more Overlords, but also scouts around the base here. looking for banelings. And after having done that, the Oracle can go straight across. And the Phoenix, instead of picking up this probe, what the Phoenix can do is it can go together with the Oracle, pick up a queen. If I would have went to the main, for example, then there's only one queen here. You can pick this up, and then the Oracle can kill a couple of drones before taking too much damage from the spore. And then you fly away, and then you drop the queen, so that the Oracle is safe. But then the Phoenix can go scat. Oracle sees things at the front, it sees the higher drone count, but you don't really get to see tech. I see the lair is started, but there could be a roach warren here. It's very hard for the Oracle to scout things like that. So this is up to the Phoenix to scout the back, count the gases, count the drones, maybe find tech buildings. And then the Oracle, it's nice to have it sitting here, so that if there is a Ling flood or if there is a roach move out, then at least you're more likely to see it, as opposed to hiding in the corner, for example. Especially if you sit at the edge of creep, then queens are not that much of a threat, and if you have shields, then you can pull it away if it gets attacked. So that is the initial role of these units, and we can keep doing this, by the way. I haven't seen anything for a little while, so sending the Phoenix in to scout again would be nice. Oracle should look for his army and maybe tag it. Like so. And Prism is started after the robo, and then it can go across the map. This can be all kinds of things. It's very hard for the Zerg to know what it means exactly. So just threatening with the Prism can be good. But here he forgot the spore and is punished for it. Quite lucky for me. Doing snipes like this is easier than it used to be because of the reduced cooldown on the Dark Templar. It's not safe necessarily. If they get the Overlord speed, they can still chase this down. So that you should keep that in mind. And in terms of the control groups, we have the main army as usual, the Phoenix, the Oracle, the Prism, and the counterattack group, as well as the trash group that will be used later. And we can look at the army movements a bit. Just what vision do I have? Why do I decide to move the army like this? Obviously all games are gonna look very, very different. It's gonna be different compositions even. But right now, I saw the army was on the right. The Phoenix is guarding the middle. So there's a good chance the army is still on the right. Oracle can go looking for the army. Dark Templar attack where the army is not, so on the left side. Tag the army, always nice, makes it a lot easier to out-position. And seeing the army out of position, we can simply snipe this base. So even though we're on creep, he's got speed banelings, speed zerglings. This base dies so quickly and we can blink away, but it's actually quite a safe move. Also pull them out of position with the Prism at the same time. So the units went for the main for a moment. And getting some zealots over to distract on one side with Dark Templar on the other is basically the core idea of this build, and then the Prism can distract as well. That was a risky move. Sloppy play by me. The Hydras should have killed it. It's nice to go in, but you don't want to go into warp mode unless it's safe. And obviously the start was really good, getting the free base, and then it just kind of, I don't want to say it snowballed, because he could have spread out his army and defended afterwards, but it's only gone in my favor afterwards as well. And then we see... right, so he absolutely corners these units. He's got the Overlord speed. These are picked off. Not cost efficient for me, that last fight. However, if we look at the worker count and the income, this is what you're really playing for. You want to kill bases to reduce income, you want to keep the worker count lower, and then you want to overwhelm with units. So you're probably gonna need a lot more gateways than ever before, just to spend the money that you're getting. Once again, splitting up Zealots on one side and Dark Templar on the other. And also, what you can do, you don't have to move this together, because we have the trash group, which gives us almost infinite flexibility of how to spread out. I knew that his army is here, so this base is currently protected. And I knew that this army is probably gonna go and defend against the Zealots, which he knows about, because they're not invisible. So I'm guessing that this army is gonna go up here. The Zealots cannot really snipe this base. What I could do is I could take 2 here, send them around like this. That would have been a pretty nice move. It would have forced him to put some units here. What I did instead was I took 2 of these Dark Templar, put them in the trash group, so that this Dark Templar squad continues like normal. And then these 2 are simply sent to kill the base. And as always, distract here if possible. And just a final thing I want to say is that in this game, I almost always warped in only Zealots in the main of the Zerg, because there's no escape. I did make 4 Dark Templar, which I can fly out. But if you warp in 10 Dark Templar and the entire army comes and kill them, then that's pretty expensive. You don't want to lose the Dark Templar. However, on some maps, you can warp in 10 Dark Templar, the opponent comes in, and you have a path of blinking out in the back. This is possible here, but this is quite far, because the minerals are blocking. There's some blocking here, and it's also very close to the ramp. So you need to do it before they even get up the ramp. It's nice if there's a path in the back. And yeah, that's it. As usual, much more detailed instructions are written, and I wish you good luck. And yeah, see you for next week for the next guide.